you. In the days after Queen Elizabeth's death, millions of people worldwide have gathered to mourn her death. Well, thousands of people continue to gather outside of Buckingham Palace in London. They lay flowers, write cards in her memory, while others pay tribute. They've popped up across the globe. People from around the world are feeling this sense of loss. So the question is, why do we all care so much? To talk about this is mental health expert Eden Garcia-Balis joining us this morning. Eden, thanks so much for being with us. And let's start with a more general question. This happens often. We are so saddened. We feel this great sense of loss with public figures that we have absolutely no personal connection with. Why?
Well, celebrities can feel like our friends. We can see them every day. We can access information easily about their lives every day as well. So even though this isn't a friendship in the traditional sense of the word, they still feel like our friends nonetheless. And when they get ill or they pass, we grieve their death just like we do a friend.
Why do you think it hit so hard for those who are mourning right now the death of Queen Elizabeth, not just in the UK, but all over the world?
Well, the Queen is really a celebrity, and she reigned for 70 years, so we all grew up with her, and it's really what she represents. She is smart. I'm still saying she was smart. She was a leader. She was smiling all the time. She was unruffled. She was dressed to the nines, and let's not forget the jewels. So we really feel connected to her, and her passing really impacts many of us.
Well, I was thinking about, specifically for those who, she reigned over in the UK and other nations, the Commonwealth. For them, for 70 years, there's this sense of stability, right? Everything in the world is constantly changing, especially now. I feel like we're in a world where everything's a 24-hour cycle of change and things are just so unpredictable. But then you had this one figure, whether you're 80 years old or right now 10 years old, you recognize this one person, and that person was significant in the sense that you felt some form of stability despite everything in the world changing.
Right, and that's exactly why it seems to be such a large loss. It's exactly what you said. She did represent this stability, and for many, it's what now? Right? What now? What happens now? So that then triggers just a bunch of feelings of our own mortality, as you said, it's not stable anymore. What's going to happen next? And then that just creates a lot of feelings of difficulty, sadness, and people have a hard time dealing with that.
Do you think this is different in the sense that immediately there's a replacement for the Queen now? King Charles, Prince Charles has become King Charles immediately as soon as she passed. That happened. Do you feel as though it's almost this mixed feeling of you're mourning the loss of one, yet you're in a way also celebrating and looking ahead toward the future? So when people are confronted with these types of emotions, they're big emotions all at the same time, it can be a lot to process.
You're absolutely right. So it leads people to, I haven't even finished my grieving process with the Queen, and now we have King Charles. And am I feeling happy about that? So there are these really mixed feelings. There could be feelings of excitement associated with the King, but yet there are these feelings of loss. And, you can hold both feelings and be happy and yet be sad at the same time. And feelings may also just come as waves.
It's that balancing act. You're right. And I think that's the best way to describe it, in waves. One moment you can feel incredibly sad, and another moment you can feel like, hey, what's next? Maybe something good is about to happen. That is what's so, I don't know, it's just this instability when it comes to mourning a loss, yet also in this case celebrating the future. What can you do though? What can you do if you're feeling a little bit down? Is there anything you recommend as a professional?
Absolutely. Talk about it. Journal about it. If there is something on the air that they're doing for this celebrity, in this case the Queen, tune in. Allow yourself to grieve. Now, there's nothing wrong with grieving the loss of a celebrity. I will say that it is troubling if you are still grieving 6 months from now, if you are feeling sad, if you have difficulty sleeping, eating, then it's time to seek help from a mental health professional.
I'm really glad you point that out, because right now, as we cover, of course, day to day what's happening leading up to the funeral, and of course we'll continue to keep an eye on things, it can be comforting for people to feel like they're part of this farewell. So in many ways, they take comfort in that. But as you say, if this continues, then you might be headed in for trouble, and that is when you need to get some help. Eden, thank you so much. Appreciate you being with us this morning and your time.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.